Welcome to the Real Life Podcast with your hosts, leadership and personal growth author and speaker John C. Donahue and licensed psychotherapist Lou Carfisi. The Real Life Podcast is your weekly dose of motivation, encouragement, and direction to help you live your life at the highest level.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Real Life Podcast. My name is John Donahue, and I come to you from johncdonahue.com. Joining me, as always, is not only is he my co-host, he's one of my best friends. He's licensed psychotherapist, Mr. Lou Carfisi from lifecarecounseling.net. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I couldn't be better, my friend.
Well, that's good. Excellent. Well, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. If you're watching live on Facebook.com/Real Life Podcast, we do a live show every Monday night at 7 p.m., and that's where we record our podcast. And if you're not here on Monday, you can listen to our show on iTunes or Stitcher or all those different places. You can also find us on YouTube. You could watch us on YouTube. We put the videos out there as well. And we want to encourage you to come to reallifepodcast.com. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can see articles and other podcasts that we put up. Basically, you can find everything you need at reallifepodcast.com. And we have a great show for you. I missed my opportunity, Lou. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, John.
Well, it's that time of year. I don't know about you. I've already been to one holiday party. And it's only, as we're recording this, it's only the 5th of December, and I've already been to a holiday party. They planned early. That's all I have to say. So there's a lot of people who are getting ready for the holidays, and it's a great time of year. There's a sense of joy and wonderment with the Christmas trees and the lights and the decorations and all the fun of holidays with friends and family. But it can also be a time of high stress. It can also be a time of negativity. A lot of people struggle during the holidays, right, Lou? Oh,
yeah. That's I can show you my schedule, and you'll find out exactly how much people struggle.
Right. Now, is it this time of year is just because people are wired that way, or is it just this time of year and people bump up against, some of their history, some of their past, and that's what they're struggling with? What is it about this time of year that makes it so difficult for some people?
There are many reasons. There are reasons that people are unhappy in general, but when it comes to holidays, it's a spark, it's a memory, and not all the memories are good. And some of the ones that are good remind us that we don't have them anymore. Because as we get older, we don't have the wonderful days that we used to have when we were children and we were carefree and everything was happy. Somebody taking care of us. As we get a little bit older, we start to think about the future, and we start to think about the regrets. And here it is on holiday, and everybody's happy, and there's snow. Well, some places there's snow.
Right.
Right. But the winter weather's setting in, and everybody's getting ready they see Santa Claus. Actually, the stores now are showing Santa Claus before Thanksgiving, but the commercialization continues, and if people are struggling with money, they're worried that they can't buy anything. If they're struggling because they don't have a lot of family with them, then they're lonely.
Right.
And there's also a thing called seasonal disorder, where people get very upset in different seasons of the year. And this is one time that people actually suffer from that. Right. But this isn't about that. This is about how to enjoy the holidays.
So. Absolutely. Yeah. And if you're one of those people that do struggle during this time of year, we just want to go ahead and start right off the bat and say, maybe this is a great time to reach out to somebody like Lou or myself. Lou is a counselor, is a psychotherapist. I'm a life coach. I can be a great listening board. I could be a great sounding board for some ideas to maybe help you not dread the holidays. If you are really struggling, Lou is someone you can really talk to, and he can help you out. You can reach us at questions@reallifepodcast.com, and you can also find links to our different websites, and you can reach out to either he or myself, or maybe there's somebody local that you can reach out to. If you're struggling, please get help. That's the first and most important message that we want to talk about, at least as far as struggling that way during the holidays. But we want to talk about how to enjoy the holidays, because we kind of do some things to ourselves that cause us to struggle during the holidays. And one of the things that we do is we tend to overdo the holidays. And by overdo the holidays, I mean overindulging in food, overindulging in adult beverages. We overschedule and we overspend. And those are all things that we kind of do to ourselves. And we need to be aware of what we're doing as far as our money, what we're doing as far as our food, what we're doing as far as alcohol consumption, and making sure that we are scheduling properly so that we're not too tired for the rest of the holiday seasons. Because when you start getting tired, you start dealing with stress, you start dealing with other issues, and you won't enjoy the holidays nearly enough.
I can't argue with that. We
have logic.
Yeah, it is sound logic. The thing is that the stores and the credit card companies and everybody increases your credit limit this time of year. Every single credit account I had got increased. Made me feel good about it. Said, congratulations, you deserve it. Here's another $1,000 or $1,500 that we're going to add to your credit account. And is it easy to go over? Yeah. I mean, you got this credit there, and if you don't have all the cash in the bank that you want to spend, or there's this nice thing that you want to get somebody or yourself, then you just go ahead and you get it.
Right.
So that's one of the things about excess, that you're talking about. Personally, food, I don't have that problem. My stomach holds about 3.5 ounces of food. No, not anymore. I can hold about that much food, a little bitty thing.
Right.
So.
And then making sure that you're scheduling properly. I know one of the things that you and I both struggle with, probably more so you, I think you have more responsibilities than I do, dealing with scheduling. Because if you're scheduling every weekend night with some party or some office event, and then you're working through the week, and then you probably have things happening on the week, you're overtaxing your physical body. You're not resting. You're not allowing yourself the time that you need to prepare for the next day. And over a period of time, we've got a month. We have from now until the end of the year, at the end of the month, which is the end of the year. And there's a lot of things that can happen when you get tired and when you get stressed out. From your experience, Lou, what are some things that happens when you start getting overly tired?
Well, things fall through the cracks. So I guess the way we can look at this is, one way that we're going to suggest to you that you can enjoy the holidays is by making sure you have all your ducks in a row. You have everything planned out as much as possible in terms of the responsibilities you have, the pitfalls that are going to come, because a lot of people in companies at this time of year, it's holiday season. So not everybody's 100% in the game. So you have to plan for certain things. You have to plan for, your family coming, which in itself is could be a traumatic experience when either you arrive at their place or they arrive at your place. So it's expectations. What is it that you want to accomplish? How do you want to enjoy your holiday?
Right.
I guess that's the key to figuring out how to enjoy it.
Right. And you dovetailed perfectly into the next thing we want to talk about, was its expectations. We have to make sure that we have a properly set expectations for ourselves and for other people. And I think one of the things coming from my experience in my life is making sure that you set proper expectations. If you're hosting a party, make sure that you have realistic expectations. If your family's coming over, make sure that you have real, honest expectations. It's probably not going to be the Norman Rockwell painting that we've all grown up with, thinking that that's going to be the dinner and it's going to be this amazing event and the heavens will part and the light will shine down and the, it's not going to be that, because that's just not real. So we have to make sure that we have expectations set for those events. And then we have to have expectations for ourselves. We're probably going to be around a lot of people, and some people we haven't always gotten along with. And you can't expect people to, just because it's a holiday season, let that go. But, don't be impolite, but make sure that you are setting proper expectations for yourself and your behavior. And you can't expect other people to treat you how you just want to be treated. It's a whole relationship thing. And what are some other expectations that I'm leaving out, Lou?
Well, gifts are a big deal around this time of year. If there are a lot of kids around, it really changes the dynamic, because kids are fun and everybody likes to watch kids open presents. But if there aren't kids, if there aren't children there, everything changes. So what you expect in a gathering or a get-together for the holidays with children is completely different than what you would expect with just a bunch of adults. And I think and I think that's part of that thing we were talking about earlier about being maybe a little reminiscent of what used to be and what isn't. Because, I don't know, for our family, I'll tell you that my son is 23 years old. I'm not going to sit there and he's not going to sit there and open 30 different presents, different boxes, and just like, oh, wow, look at all of these cool things. It's not going to be that anymore. It's going to be like one thing that's maybe very expensive, or two things, but it'll be just a very short and different experience. And that's what I expect.
Right.
I don't have a 5 or 10-year-old anymore.
Right. And that's a healthy expectation. Kids grow up. Mm-hmm. And I know that's one of the things that every time I go home, my family, they know I'm a 46-year-old man, but they still, I think, sometimes see me as a boy, and that's.
But you will always be their boy.
I will always be, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that sometimes, families do that, and I think it's natural. There are some lines that can get crossed, but I think that's natural. When you see your son, you have those memories, those thoughts, those reminiscings about when he was a boy. But, a healthy expectation is he's not. He's a man, So just having those type of expectations is a wise move, and it can make or break your holiday season if you have ridiculously high expectations for other people and even yourself. And that's just life in general. We've talked about expectations a lot here on the podcast.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Another thing to remember is when you're going through these next several weeks, and depending on which specific holidays you celebrate, if you celebrate any holidays at all, make sure that you're reflecting and thinking about the things that are most important to you. Independent of holiday parties, independent of family gatherings, Lou touched on it with the presents, and, we've touched on it with expectations. What's most important to you? Is it spending quality time with friends and family, or is it making sure that you buy the most expensive and all the gifts that your children want? And make sure that you process through that. Your holidays are going to be either super high stress, filled with disappointment because you didn't get that toy, or they could be filled with love and fun and family, and not necessarily focused on the things of the holiday, but the people. And I think that's one of the most important things that we need to focus on so that we can enjoy the holidays to a much higher level than we may or may not have enjoyed them in the past.
Well, yep. I agree with that. But I think the bigger point here is how do you perceive the holiday? If your perception is that you're going to go do this and do that, and you're going to see things through your eyes. And if your eyes are, and it's tied to expectations, of course, but you will perceive situations differently than other people. So people don't, it's just like we're talking about presents, and I guess you and I are both assuming that everybody watching this is Christian, is going to celebrate Christmas. And while probably a lot of them are, most of them are probably, I have Jewish friends. I have people who who really they don't celebrate Christmas. I think that they're missing out if they don't celebrate this holiday, because it's a wonderful holiday. But my Jewish friends would disagree because they get to have more presents than just one for one day. But it doesn't mean anything about presents. I think the most important thing, and I don't want to get preachy, because if someone thinks that it's a wonderful thing to have presents or buy presents, I don't want to ruin it for them. That's fine. It's fine with me. It's all how you perceive the holiday. I perceive it in a similar way that you described, when you're seeing friends and family and you're there, and it's just a time to get together. And that's how I see it.
Right. I agree. And I understand what you're saying. And I think you're absolutely correct. I mean, if buying presents for your friends brings you joy and happiness, that's okay. And I'm not saying that it's not. I think watching the commercials and the commercialization of, and a lot of holidays are commercialized, but I think watching the extreme commercialization of this specific time of year, I think we really do kind of, for some people, it takes some of the focus away from, this time of year, for some belief systems, is really about relationships and family. And then there's a religious piece to it, which, we don't need to get into. But, I think whatever direction is important to you, it's making sure that you process through it so that at the end of this time of year, you're not left feeling disappointed or depressed that you didn't enjoy the holidays as much as you would have liked.
Right. We always blow things up to more than they are. How many times have you heard the person who prepares dinner, like for Thanksgiving, for example, and they work all day. They get up at 5 a.m. and they're cooking all day, and everybody comes in and sits down, and the meal's over in like 15 minutes. And it's like, there's this huge letdown, because then the people who usually, it's the wives and the girlfriends and everything, they're the ones who cook, and then they're the ones who clean up. So they're like this the entire time until they reach the end of the get together, and then they're by themselves, pretty much doing this work.
Right.
I don't want that to be that way for anybody. For us, I don't like it that way. I want it to be something that we enjoy from a different way. It's not like I worked 7 hours, so I should have 7 hours of pleasure from it, not 7 hours worth of work and 15 minutes of gorging myself, and then and then you're done, and then you're finished, because then the holiday is over, and then it's not about Thanksgiving. It's not about giving thanks or being thankful for the things you have and the people you have in your life. It's about being thankful for the meal that you've got in front of you, and for somebody spent 7 hours cooking it. There's a big difference.
Right. I think I'm with you. I think that part of that is not only being aware of the people and the relationships, but it's just that awareness and gratitude. I mean, I think that's kind of what we're kind of dancing around a little bit, is having the appreciation for the things that we have, or the things that we've purchased, or the things that were given to us, and being very appreciative of the people that we have. Even if you are alone on the holidays, I'm hoping that you have family, or I'm hoping that you have some friends that you can reach out to. Or maybe it's just you have work relationships. Just be thankful for the relationships that you have. and acknowledging that this time of year can be very difficult. But if you go into it with a deeper appreciation for the things and the people and what you have in your life, I think that you're going to come out on the other end really enjoying these holidays like never before.
So set your sights, set your expectations, prepare.
Right.
Prepare for what's coming.
Right.
Have and make sure that you mentally prepare yourself. Yeah, right. Mentally prepare yourself for the people who are coming.
Right. If people are coming, make sure that you're ready for that. Have a plan. Make sure that you're looking at your entire month. Make sure that you're communicating it. If you're married or if you have a significant other that you have to coordinate schedules with, make sure that you're communicating. All these things that we talk about throughout the year are kind of really pressed together for this 3 weeks. So make sure that you're doing all the little things right so that they don't become big problems. Is that a fair statement?
Right. I would say so.
All right.
And there's the other holiday that comes up too, John, is New Year's Eve.
Yes.
A lot of people who have problems with substance abuse, for example, or people who are like on the wagon and don't want to drink or don't want to get intoxicated in any way. Mm-hmm. Those people don't look forward to those holidays. They don't look forward to Christmas. They don't look forward to any of those things because they think that that's a good excuse to drink.
Right.
And that really that will bring out the reality of actually what it is that you expect from a holiday. If it's just an excuse to drink, then Tuesday's a good day.
Right. Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I agree. It's difficult, especially if you're on the wagon, and I think those of us who are not struggling with those issues need to be very aware of the people in our lives. If because a lot of people who are struggling with those type of issues don't necessarily share it. Some of those issues are probably self-evident, but if you're struggling and you can keep it hidden, a lot of people don't know. So we just need to be aware of the people around us. And if they're struggling with an issue like that or a substance abuse problem, we need to be sensitive to it. So if you're planning a party for New Year's, it's not all about the alcohol. Make sure there's non-alcoholic things there as well. And make sure that you're partying smart. A friend of mine calls New Year's Eve amateur night. Stop and think about that for just a second. And it's difficult. Just be careful. Just be smart. Have a plan. Work the plan. Use taxis, Uber, Lyft. Just make sure that you get home safe because we want you here for a long and prosperous 2017 and beyond.
Yes, that's right. We got a whole new year coming.
That's right. A lot of great things coming up in 2017 and looking forward to it. So is there anything else that you would like to add to this as we kind of ramp it down here and call it an episode?
No, well, I mean, summarize, plan, have reasonable expectations, right? Make sure you figure out for yourself how you want to experience the holidays and make it happen. Just make it happen the way you want it to, because it's how you perceive it is the way it will be.
Absolutely. I could not have said it better myself. So if you have questions, you can reach out to Lou or myself at questions@reallifepodcast.com. You can find us here on Facebook and on Twitter at reallifecast. And you can find Lou at lifecarecounseling.net. You can find me at johncdonahue.com, and we hope that you have a safe holiday season. And we will be here next week, and we're talking about notions. I'm fascinated to hear when Lou is going to be leading the conversation next week. We're going to be talking about notions. I'm very excited to hear what he has to say. So it should be fun.
I certainly hope so. At least interesting.
Yeah, it should be. So we hope to see you here next week. Thank you for watching. If you're watching live, thank you for listening. And we just want to encourage you to find the real hope here at the Real Life Podcast. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Real Life Podcast. Find out more information and sign up for the Real Life Podcast newsletter at reallifepodcast.com. You can also learn more about our hosts, Lou Carfisi at lifecarecounseling.net and John Donahue at johncdonahue.com. And remember, live your life to the fullest. And as always, we want to encourage you to choose to be awesome, because when you choose to be awesome, you will be. Have a great week, everyone.